Welcome to Pals Pulls. We got the threesome on deck.
Whoa,
Heyo.
hey, don't say that for
Tyler,
Marco.
No.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Sorry, my cat's very needy today, so he will make an appearance probably.
that's not unusual. Marco,
It's not.
My cat will not make an appearance because he's a good boy and leaves me alone to do my work.
Whoa, this guy does not at all.
and I'm Sean, and we are here to talk about four of the biggest releases in the week. We've got Dark Crisis now on Infinite Earths, number
Wow.
4. That's weird. Batman 127 and Immortal X-Men number 6. Now, first of all, I am not happy. Oh, I'm sorry. And also the listener pick this week. The most voted book, Alien number 1. Alien Volume 2 number 1. Don't have that in front of me physically because it was voted on after I made my trip to my pilgrimage to Midtown Comics. So I wasn't able to get that physically. And boy, do I have things to say about that. I hate digital comics.
How dare you? Wait, hold on.
fact-
Hold on. How dare you?
Whoa,
I would go as far as to say that I will never again read a digital comic for this show. I will abstain.
Uh-oh.
then you
If
guys
I
gotta
have
give
to
it.
use Comixology to read it, I'm not reading it.
You guys got to
that's
put in your
gonna-
listener picks early then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna affect my my comics tag, I think.
Listen, I'm on vacation next week, so
No?
you could tag me if you want to.
Oh, damn, that's right.
Damn. Wait a
So
Messing
minute.
know what
up
I'll
all
do?
my choice. I was gonna pick Kale first. I'm like, all right, I'll default to Sean because like I know I can get him to read something. Like Tyler, figure something out.
You know what I'll do, Marco? If you really want to tag me,
Mhm.
I will record a voice message.
No. Okay.
No,
You're on vacation.
Yeah.
I'll do it before I leave. I'm leaving on Wednesday. Next Wednesday.
Nah. Take a vacation. Take a vacation. Even though I'm going to the beach tomorrow and I'm going to be on the show.
I
At the beach.
told you, man. I'll do the show alone.
No. That's on me. That's on me. The other two guys, they got their notices in sooner than me, so I will do a nice little beach stream on Saturday. That's fine. I don't usually wake up on my vacation until like noon anyway, so like I'm not losing beach time.
All right.
I'm good.
All right.
I might be eating live on air though, so ASMR stream on Saturday, guys. Get ready.
Let's get it.
What are you gonna eat?
Oh, I eat. I slurping. I'm slurping on clams 24/7 when I'm on the shore.
So
I'm slamming that
what
clam. I'm slamming them.
What you shouldn't do is say slurp it.
Oh no,
That's
I'm
a
doing that
word
on
that-
purpose.
Right. You should probably remove that from your vocabulary.
Slurping on a moist oyster.
Okay. Wow. Well, if you guys want to support the show and find us all over the place, there are many ways that you can contribute to what we're doing here. Patreon.com/thecomicspals is probably the best way to do that. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to our newsletter. And there's a lot of other cool stuff up there as well, including Palling Around, which is our Patreon exclusive show. And you get access to cool nicknames, superhero, supervillain nicknames. So there's lots of cool stuff going on over there. For my newsletter this week, I talked about the man, or oh my god, oh
Becky Lynch?
the they, the myth, the legend, Grant Morrison.
Oh, okay.
The human. Actually, I'm
The
not even sure
human.
that's true. I'm not even sure that's true.
The individual,
Yeah.
the individual, the myth, the legend, Grant Morrison.
Sean, are you picking up Luda?
You know what? I saw that on the shelf at Midtown, and
Oh, really?
I,
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, should I do it? Should I not? I don't know, because I didn't really care for the other book he put out, Super Gods.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
This one's about drag queens.
Yeah, that's
So-
right up your
Ooh,
alley.
I
interesting.
mean, honestly, it looks like if somebody like tailor-made a book for me. They got, something I'm interested in, and then literally one of my favorite writers of all time. I might need to try and get... That might be a good beach read. Maybe I should try and figure out how to get that today after the show.
Should grab it.
You know what? Thank you, me, for coming up with that idea.
Good stuff.
Hey, I just bought Fantastic Four Full Circle.
In
I'm
print?
looking at it. I'm
my
looking
review.
at it.
Yes, in print, Marco.
After
You
his
know it.
tirade...
When you could have it digitally and access it from the comfort of your beach without having to worry about getting it dirty.
Oh, I don't mind saying my books.
and then not physically have access to the gorgeous artwork of Alex Ross. Only a pleb would do such a thing. But enough about Marco. YouTube.com/thecomicspals. Thank you guys so much for getting us over 600 subs. That's really meaningful to us. We've been working hard on that, and feels good to see that you guys are into what we're doing and continuing to support. So thank you so much. Book Club, Batman White Knight, Curse of the White Knight out right now. Show that some love. TikTok, check out our TikToks. Tyler's TikTok corner. And join our Discord server. There's a link to that in anything we do. Let's get into the reviews. We'll start with Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 4. I should say, I'm sorry, DC's limited event series, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 4.
Of
There we
7.
go.
Of 7. By Joshua Williamson, Daniel Samper, Alejandro Sanchez, Tom Napolitano. First of all, this was my book of the week. I am very high on this event. I think this event is great. There were a lot of things that I really enjoyed about this comic book.
It's not my book of the week, but it was much better. And I feel like I, alongside Tyler, have been very down on this series, and this brought me back in. It reeled me in, especially I think the upfront parts where we're getting a bit more of the explanation as to what the worlds, what the individual worlds are, the sort of plan of attack, how some of these individual, the Gar and the Beast Boy and Nightwing stuff was a really good emotional beat. Got a little bored at the end, but I thought the rest of this was pretty good.
My first the first thing I want to say about this book is Samper. Holy shit. That dude's art is good. This is just like good quality DC event art. This is up there with like the Evan Rice's of DC. It's just gorgeous. But I don't really know what's going on. I feel like it's getting so wrapped up in the multiversity of it all, where it's throwing these very, not to quote Doctor Who, but like timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff, but whatever that is for the multiverse at me, and I don't really know what's going on. So I know like the Justice League, they're spoilers for this book, but they're on these different Earths made for them that are about as perfect as possibly can be, which is help powering Pariah's machine, which is then creating the new multiverse. Am I getting that? Okay. Yeah, so if I'm getting that correctly, then I'm kind of bored. Yeah, it's just I don't know what the stakes are. There's no real stakes here for me. Because if the stakes were like, that somebody may die, the Justice League may die, they already killed him off the first issue. So are the stakes the multiverse is at stake, but they're just creating a new one? So like, I don't know where my emotion should be really with this. Yeah, there's good quiet moments, I think, especially like the Nightwing. Sean, tell me the Green Lantern's name. Sorry, I almost said Al Green. That is not right.
Oh, Alan Grant.
Alan Grant. No, that's Jurassic Park.
No,
isn't it?
not Alan Grant. Oh my God, I'm blanking.
Original
Give me the
JSA Green Lantern. Yeah, I don't have the button right now. JSA Green Lantern.
Alan Scott.
There we go. A man with two names. There we go. Oh, okay. Thanks, Cal. But yeah, it's
Wait a second.
like,
Why is Kale in the chat but not on the show? Like, does anybody else feel like
it's multitasking.
what it?
Yeah. He'll respond. He'll have a sassy remark.
Oh my God.
He's just berating you in the chat. Yeah, like those moments I enjoy. I enjoyed the moments of Black Adam, confronting the Legion of Doom before it just turned into typical MCU end of movie giant fight scene. But yeah, there are bits in here that I like, but overall, I don't really know.
The thing that kept me going was beyond the swampy cameos. I
Yeah,
think
I want to hear you talk about that.
once the action sequences started, I was like, all right, you get it. But then the reveal of a new multiverse, that was interesting to me. That was interesting to me because I think we've always had this conception of just the one multiverse, and now we have, what is it, the omniverse, the hyperverse, what is it called?
Omniverse.
Omniverse, and now
One sec. Sean, is your mic close to you? You're a little low.
Yeah, it's right in front of my face.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry, I
Hello?
was having a little trouble hearing you, but okay.
Marco, am I low to you?
a little bit.
How about now?
That's good. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, cool.
And that's interesting to me because now let's say we have multiple omniverses. I don't know how that plays out and what that means, and that's a good question for me. I'm interested in that kind of a story. I'm interested in that kind of a device, and it made me genuinely ask, like, what does this mean, and what are the implications here? And I'm glad that I had that question arise. And similarly, those emotional beats kept me along with the book.
Marco, you've not read a Crisis before, right?
No, sir.
Okay, so I can see how you're getting that out of it.
Yeah.
For me, having read every Crisis, this is what happens in every Crisis. It's either the multiverse gets destroyed or remade. So it's just like, all right, is this what a crisis is at this point?
But my understanding is it's not even getting reborn. He's just making a new one. He's making a separate one that is divorced from this current multiverse that we're all existing in, where Captain Carrot is, where President Superman is. Like, all of that is separate, and now there's a new one that we have to even consider and think about.
So that is, to me, all like secondary. So Tyler said, he's not sure what the emotional core is, and I feel like the emotional core is stopping Deathstroke and saving their friends, saving the League that's lost. What Pariah is doing is crazy, and he's a crazy guy, so they have to stop him. But to me, that's not the primary focus of this particular book. And I think that, if you want a plot that's very focused on, this is what's happening, right? This is like the big thing, then I could see how that being secondary is a problem. But for me, I was here for a lot of the character stuff that I think was phenomenal. Joshua Williamson is flexing his knowledge of the way these characters ought to be written. Even that initial like Flash Hal interaction, that 2-pager,
that was good.
Was really good. Yep, really good. And it looks great. That helps a lot. But I think a lot of the dialogue is strong, man. I really do.
I did pop when Detective Chimp showed up. I'm a big Detective Chimp guy. So seeing him come back, I was like, yeah, and he's depressed and drunk again. It's great.
Oh, is that a part of his character?
A bit. His character is essentially, I'm a mystical arts kind of guy, but all my friends die because I can't do my job correctly.
Damn. So he's a monkey Constantine?
Yeah, but he's friends with Constantine, but Constantine has less guilt than he does.
Ooh,
He's
okay.
Constantine with guilt, essentially, really. and a nice
Remorse.
sword. Marco, how'd you feel about both Swamp Things showing up in this? So
I
in
thought that was
continuity,
that was interesting. I mean, they technically exist, and we saw that
Sure.
in the Rom B stuff.
yeah.
And I was kind of hyped for that. I like the design. I was trying to like figure out though if they were both um if they were both what's his face, Alec Holland, because I don't know that the new one up front is necessarily Levi, because he had a different design. This looks like the new 52 version. The one with the longer hair looks like not the Future's End, which is the one that we read.
The one with the long hair is the Justice League Dark one. That's the one that's
Okay,
constantly
yes.
been in Justice League Dark, which
Yeah,
has been
yeah.
Alec Holland. So my assumption was Levi was the one up front because he mentions like, "Hey, I haven't really been doing this for too long," but
See, I thought it was the new 52 version because that's the same kind of style that was drawn by Yannick and
sure.
I'm forgetting who it was. Oh my god, I'm forgetting who it was afterwards.
Charles
but
Soule?
not the Charles Soule stuff. I'm forgetting the artist,
Yeah.
but that
Kano?
looked like
Was it? I think it was Kano on art back then.
no. I'll try to pull it up real quick.
Okay.
But and I assumed that he was new because in that version he was just reborn, and that kind of makes sense because that ties into Black as Night, and he's restarting his life as Swamp Thing again.
Am I nuts, or is that not the same color scheme that Levi has in
For the word
the
bubble,
Swamp
right?
Thing book? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I can
it's
double
usually
check.
it's usually all orange. It should always be orange. The fact that there's a difference in color looked a little odd, because even in the Levi stuff, it was still orange. It was orange and it had the dots, whereas the dots that didn't happen in the new 52 stuff.
All right. Well, in any event, I need to talk about. Well, first, I should say what actually happens in this book. We haven't really said what happens. So this issue gives us a little bit more of an idea of what is going on with the worlds of the Justice League. Um, the individual members essentially are all trapped in these worlds that were created for them, so that they won't want to leave, so that they'll stay and continue to fuel the engine that is creating all of these new worlds. Flash and Hal are on a mission to obviously stop this, and there's a great interaction between those two up front. I feel like I only ever read those characters these days in events. So whenever there is an event, I'm looking for moments with characters that I don't read monthly. So I was happy about that. On the other end of that, there's a great scene between Nightwing and as we mentioned, Alan Scott. It's a fantastic scene. Nightwing is struggling to accept that the role for him is a leadership role. And that in order for the good guys to win, he has to step up. I love what this series is doing for Nightwing. I think it's been great. Nightwing is the main character of DC. He is their Spider-Man. And he should be in this role. This is fantastic.
I mean, I'm with you on that. Like I said, like that Alan Scott, thanks, Kel, bit with Nightwing, telling him how he is the original, I guess continuation of the Justice League.
Yeah.
He's the true heir, I guess, in a way, to leading the Justice League. And in telling Nightwing in a way where, like, it's not necessarily what he wants to hear right now, because in his mind he's failed. One of his best friends is technically on death's door, and he's failed him. And it's nice because I think Nightwing is that character to then kind of rally the younger generation. I mean, it's what he was doing in Titans Academy.
Right.
But I'm specifically thinking of like John Kent. Their relationship is integral in the John Kent book, the Nightwing book and in this as well. Even like the Zero issue that we had for this, there was like a big part of that as well. So knowing in my heart of hearts that that Dick Grayson is going to be the hero of a Crisis, like that's exciting. Because
it fits the role.
Yeah. And just because Alan Scott's an old fart, him being at one of Nightwing's, Dick Grayson's parents' trapeze acts once, being able to talk about that, I thought that was great. That was a great bit to it too.
Yeah.
Oh, that felt a little cheesy for me. Like he happened to be in Gotham City that whenever they were in town or something, or wherever they were performing.
They had a residency, I believe, in Harley Circle or something like that. It was.
Haley
you could have gone.
Circus.
Yeah. You could have gone there to see them.
They had a residency. It was the Flying Graysons was like
headliners.
It's like going to see Ringley, Barnum and Bailey,
Sure.
or something like that. Like everyone does it. It's a rite of passage. Almost.
No, I don't fuck with clowns.
Same.
Me neither. But I've
hyperventilated when I saw one once.
But or like going to see the Rockettes. The point is that in Gotham, that was like
The
a
thing.
thing, just
Is
like many other states.
Yeah.
The other scene, this was amazing to me, was whenever the Flash and Hal ended up on the Batman planet, the steampunk Batman.
That was cool.
Oh my god,
That's Batman's perfect world is steampunk, really?
that was kind of silly.
Bruce Wayne's a steampunk fan. He's like, probably
kinda
loves
fuck with
Firefly
that.
and shit like that too.
It looked amazing. Like, just if you guys are watching, look at that Batman design and the way he's sitting there perched on the wire. He throws gears. His batarangs are gears. That's amazing. I love this. And like, does it make sense? No, but they got this in, and I'm glad. Like when you get your shit in, you got to get your shit in a Crisis event.
Mm-hmm.
When you get the pen for an event, you have to throw everything at it. And clearly, Joshua Williamson was like, "Yo, wouldn't it be really cool if there was a steampunk Batman?" And they just did it. Like, yeah, now this is part of canon.
I like how these are supposed to be like the ideal worlds for these heroes, and Batman's is strangely steampunk. Is Aquaman's? He's a Lovecraftian squid face guy. Like that's what he thinks is ideal. And Hal Jordan's is just a police state apparently. So it says a lot about Hal Jordan, I guess.
Well, this isn't Hal's world. This is
I guess
Stewart's
that's
world.
Oh, that even says a lot about Jon Stewart then.
Yes. Which we saw in the Worlds Without a Justice League Hal Jordan issue.
Right.
And then we also have, as was mentioned, the big fight. But before the fight, there is a meeting of the minds. It's the Legion of Doom. Black Adam goes to them and he's pleading with them for help. And it's an interesting scene because in the minds of the Legion, particularly Lex, he's believing that Black Adam has turned a corner and is ready to be bad again. And that's why he's come to them. But in reality, Black Adam very likely just wants them to help him save the world. He actually cares. And he's coming from a more earnest place, even though he's not necessarily trying to show them that. So I thought that was a good scene with a little tinge of complexity to it. And come on, Gorilla Grodd was
Big
amazing.
fan,
like I
big
can almost
fan.
hear him.
I love whenever they go to the classic Legion of Doom headquarters. Like, iconic place. We should do a ranking of like comic book locations. I think that would be a fun one. Like Baxter Building, Legion of Doom headquarters. Like I like this idea. This just came to me and I like it. Thanks, beer. But anytime you can see like all those villains like together and they're kind of just like hanging out, even though they're doing very democratic stuff. It's essentially a city council meeting for villains. I always get happy when I see Toyman there, like specifically like Super Friends Toyman, who looks like a jester. Like that's kind of one of my favorites. But I did like that bit too. Like I agree. Like this book is super cool. Like I think cool is a good word to describe this book. I just don't love it yet. I really like it, but I'm not sure I love it yet. I think, but there's a lot of cool scenes. I will agree with that.
Well, you got 3 issues left to fall in love. I thought
do
this
have a
was
question,
awesome.
though.
Yeah.
So at the end of this, we get the Infinite Earths again. He drops the name, right? He says the thing. Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
pointing at Scream meme. Shouldn't issue 5 then be Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths? Because technically, the name drop only happens at the end here. So like, come on, guys. If you're gonna play with the title, play with it right.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it's all goofy. It's all silly. Also,
Yeah, it's true.
I neglected to point out my actual favorite moment of the entire book. It's such a small moment. When Lex punches Deathstroke and Deathstroke is on his knees and Lex is giving him the pep talk, the come to Jesus talk. And he goes behind him and he says, "Yes, and I promise you I will help you." And he's about to blast his head away. That's such a crazy Lex Luthor character moment.
He's going like what is it, of Mice and Men style? Like just, he's just gonna get him in the back of the head, put him out of his misery. He's been too much of a hassle. He killed that that poor woman.
That was awesome.
That felt true to his character.
Yeah, exactly. To me, this has everything that I have been waiting for AXE Judgment Day to have, and this is definitely shaping up to be one of my favorite DC events.
One thing I'm noticing too about this event is like, in terms of tie-ins, the main titles are not really tying in. It's mostly like you have a Dark Crisis one-shot here or there. I know we have a Swamp Thing one coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's called The Great Darkness, I think. And it had 2 Swamp Things on the cover. I should have seen that coming. But knowing that like this is, and you're liking it, and I look at AXE Judgment Day, where like everything is a tie into it. Like all the main titles are tying into it. It's making me see why I like and didn't like some things about big event books that we're kind of going back into. So,
Well, to your point, like the fact that we don't need that additional context, because you and I have not necessarily been high on it, and the fact that we don't need to be reading these side books to actually inform what's going on in the main event is, I think, helpful. Because then we'd have to, we would have to read World Without Justice League Superman or World Without Justice League Batman, et cetera, because they would need to provide some sort of story beat or some additional context or something that's going on in the main event. Whereas a lot of those stories were kind of just side moments, like beats with this recontextualized world, and that you can take as its own thing. And this is its own contained thing. And I think I like that much better than some of the Marvel stuff that we've been reading, where you need AXE, then you have the Immortal X-Men stuff, and then somehow maybe Marauders ties in and whatever the fuck, right? Like that all feels like a lot to get through, much more of a slog than if this was just AXE, one event, you got everything you need here, and then Dark Crisis, I can appreciate much more for that.
That's funny because even though I'm enjoying AXE Judgment Day less, I love the fact that it has tie-ins. I love we're going to talk about Immortal X-Men 6 here in a moment, and I love the way that those things are directly informing what's happening in Immortal X-Men, because it's kind of weird, right? Like you buy Superman's not even on Earth in those comics. Like he's so far away, like he's not dead
bear right now.
Yeah, and it's odd. To me, it's very odd when the books don't reflect what's happening in the event. But let's table that because we do have to talk about Batman 127. Chip Zdarsky, George Jimenez, Clayton Cowles, Tamu Moret. That's the creative team. This is the 3rd issue of the Chip Zdarsky, George Jimenez run. And we are in full swing with Batman Zur-En-Arrh. In the last issue, we saw Batman activate his failsafe, which, of course, is Zur-En-Arrh, which goes all the way back to 2008. Batman R.I.P. If you haven't read that, now's a great time, as it's referenced heavily here. It actually gets a little caption in this book.
Do you feel validated about that? Like, we got 2 captions here when we called it last issue. We're like, oh, this is Tower of Babel and Batman R.I.P.
Yeah,
And like
totally,
seeing the editor's notes, I was like, man,
Love
we're
editor
good.
notes.
We're good.
Yep.
We called it.
This was my book of the week.
Same for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't yet gotten to Zernar, but the lead up to it, and this getting as like this is a flavor, an early flavor for it. Once he said we still have work to do, chum, I'm like, oh, hold on a second. I think I get what Zernar is in terms of like the pure Batman, and it felt like for a moment, and some of the dialogue here felt like the like a more wacky, maybe 70s, and I guess you can tell that from the costume design as well. I'm this to inform what I'm going to be catching up on reading did wonders for me. So I had a blast with this issue, and the fact that we got like lightsabers and shit, and you got to fight failsafe with that. I was all about this book. I'm turning a corner on it.
Yeah, I really dug it. I like the idea that like Sean, like Zdarsky's referencing 2 big Morrison stories here. In Morrison and DC Comics, that's my bag, you know? Like, those are 2 things I love. So, seeing that in here and seeing how Batman's, he's struggling in this. And I think that's when there's a good Batman story, when Batman is, like, over his head and people are, like, questioning him. Like, those are my favorite Batman stories, because, like, you don't really know what's going to happen. Because usually most of the time you're in Batman's POV. When Batman's POV is all fucked up, sorry to say that, but like that's when I think he's interesting. I always hate when he has too much control over the situation. Like that's classic Batman. But I like when he doesn't have control and he's trying to figure out and struggling. That's exactly what this is. He activates Zernar as his failsafe. And Zernar is like, yeah, I deleted that memory. I don't know how to fix this. So even his failsafe doesn't work. So he has to like override his own failsafe at the end of this. And it's just normal Bruce running around in a purple costume, which is even goofier than I expected, but it's fun. This book has gotten slightly, I say goofy, but like this book is slightly goofy, like in a good way. It's a little wacky, and I think it has that Zdarsky flair kind of at its core, and it's overlaid with like just pure Batman stuff that I'm really liking. I like how it's not really just about Batman. We're getting pretty much his entire supporting cast here. All of the Robins and Robin-esque types. Superman shows up in this, and goddamn, Jimenez draws a good Superman, just like a classic looking Superman. And Zdarsky writes Superman as imposing, really as an equal to Batman. Not like this, happy-go-lucky schoolboy that's a little naive. No, this is Batman's equal, both mentally and overly physically not as equal, but it's cool to see that in this. I'm excited to see where this goes because Batman has really lost kind of control here. And then like the Jimenez art on these action scenes are great.
Incredible.
It takes some wacky angles. Everyone's kind of super kinetic. There's a sense of movement here that's really good. I wouldn't even say it's like really traditional Batman. It's almost, Marco, am I wrong in saying this, but like it feels almost anime influenced in a way, in the way everything moves. Or maybe European is the way I'm thinking about it. It's just non-traditional noir Batman.
I think there are moments. There's a moment where Montoya's like just looking away into the distance, and there's this blur in the background. That feels a little more cinematic, something a bit more European. But I think the kineticism that you're talking about, I can definitely see that as being influenced by anime. I'm in the middle of Brotherhood, and there are moments where the art changes where you need to have just looser lines to be able to really describe action and movement. And I think that's what this book's doing a lot of. It's bending a lot. It's using a lot of curves. It's using a lot of blur and just expressing the emotion in things as much as like a punch. Like there are a few moments here where Batman gets punched in the face, or you see his like lips and his
Yep.
cheek bend, but then the mask is also at the same time bending alongside, and there's a distortion there. But I've been enjoying it. I was down on the art, I think, in the first issue, but I'm coming back around on both story and art. This shit's cool.
Great use of onomatopoeia too in this, like the sound effects and stuff. Loving it.
So I was not as high on this issue as you guys.
Really?
Yes. So I had a few problems. By and large, I think this was a really strong issue, but I had a few problems. First of all, I don't necessarily like the return of Zoran R if he's going to be presented like this. When he was presented in RIP, that's like a break glass moment. It's not even something that Batman chooses. It's something that happens to him, and it doesn't feel like he's not in control. This issue implies that there's a conversation that goes on between the Zoran R Batman and Bruce Batman, and I didn't appreciate that. That didn't work for me at all. And then also in RIP, and I would definitely say that Zoran R Batman is presented as goofy in a sense, but he's also very, very dangerous. He's crazy, but he's very dangerous. And it works because you know that he's meeting the challenge. This is what is required for the situation he's in that book. Here, it doesn't work. So Zoran R Batman is now a jobber to me. I understand the idea is to get failsafe to seem like that big of a threat, that even Zoran R Batman can't deal with this. But of course he can't deal with this. So when Superman has to come and do it, to me, that's where it's like, you know, that big question of like, well, how come Superman doesn't just come and save the day in every comic book? Because it's not about him. This took away from the story being about Batman for me. I don't want to see Superman come and save the day. Why doesn't he do this all the time? Batman's been in big danger before. Where was Superman? Unless there's a reason for this down the road, I don't like how Batman got fed to failsafe, Zoran R got fed to failsafe gets fed to Superman. What's the point?
I think the point is that we get a nice "I told you so" from Clark Kent in this. That's what it seems like it's going to. Yeah,
he's too good a boy to do that.
Well, what's the "I told you so"?
No, he's not. That you shouldn't have come up with these fail-safes for everyone, even yourself. You screwed yourself. You know, Bruce screwed Bruce in a way.
But that's...
I like that. I like that. I saw that smile, Sean.
Well, it's because I made a wrestling.
You know what the
reference.
smile is? The smile is the fact that Batman has been in these situations many times where, I mean, there's literally a book called Batman Murderer. You know, there's so many books where Batman allegedly killed somebody and failsafe never activated. So what's different about now than then?
Did you guys like the backup on this?
Backup was really good.
Backup was good. Yeah.
The reveal that we know Batman didn't kill Penguin, mostly because Penguin's not dead. So, tonally it's very different. But I'm liking those backups too.
Well, that was the last one for this iteration, right?
Yeah. Now it's going to be Zoran R Year 1. So that should be interesting.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting.
I did want to praise the book for some things too, because I thought it was overall very good. The highlighting of the relationship between Batman and Robin was awesome and harkens back to the classic line, Batman and Robin will never die, which was one of Grant's signature lines from RIP and Batman and Robin. In fact, RIP starts with that very line, and Batman and Robin includes it. So Batman says something to the effect of, you can't beat Batman and Robin, or when they're together they're invincible. Something of that nature, which I really appreciated. And then the fighting and the body movements of Zoran R Batman are different than Bruce Batman. It's a little bit more flashy and less like it felt less like look at the way that Zur-En-Arrh Batman is kicking his leg out right here. Look at this slash. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't feel like a traditional Batman pose. And I like the way that Jimenez differentiates between the two versions in terms of their movements. Even this, look at Batman's leg is like one of his legs is totally out, and he's like, you know, very dramatically holding up this sword or whatever. It just looks so different presentation wise, and I really like that.
I think to your point on the failsafe, like failsafe not activating, but the failsafe activating for Zur-En-Arrh even. I think that makes sense because Zur-En-Arrh therein made that failsafe for himself. Like I feel like then let's say there was a deeper level to even Zur-En-Arrh, that version of whatever that Batman would probably create a failsafe for that version and so on and so forth. That to me made sense.
That's not what I said.
No. But I'm saying like I can see your point on how it diminishes the strength of Zur-En-Arrh because he's not being pulled in to defeat this villain necessarily. But I think for me, like logistically and logically, it made sense that all right, yeah, like there was the moment where I'm gonna stab him in the joint, right? Because that's what, like, who would prep that? Oh, right, me, and even worse, me as Zur-En-Arrh Batman.
Yeah, what I was saying was that failsafe never activated when Batman killed people allegedly before, so why'd it happen now?
Plot.
I thought it was just as
simple as it was on the news and like the news was networked correctly to the I guess the Batman's home internet network, so it went over to failsafe. I don't know. Like that's the only thing that really made sense to me. What do you think this thing is made out of though? Like, did he just get some like vibranium somehow? Like what why can't anyone break this robot?
Adamantium.
It's weird. Yeah. Yeah, what's the DC equivalent of adamantium? Also, you know that guy's gonna have a piece of kryptonite in him somewhere.
You're so right.
Huh.
I didn't even think
He's
about
gonna open
that.
up a panel. It's like, oh, there's a kryptonite. Because there's a failsafe for...
Right.
This whole thing is like, oh, I know what Batman's gonna do. It's layered. Someone's gotta do something unexpected.
That was good, Tyler. Okay,
so Batman's gonna hug failsafe, and that'll shut him down.
I'm giving it up. Oh.
Yeah, so definitely a pull. I think it's a very good comic. But I would have preferred to see the Zur-En-Arrh Batman brought out for an occasion that feels a little bit more dramatic and dynamic than this.
Sure. That's fair.
Let's talk about Immortal X-Men number 6. This is the second Judgment Day tie-in that we've gotten in this book. Basically, we are seeing a lot of what happened in AXT Judgment Day number 4.
3.
Yeah. From different angles, a lot of stuff that was happening while the events of that book were going on. It presents them in a different light, and we see some of the judgments. The Progenitor, which is the Celestial that was created by the Eternals, Tony Stark, Sinister. It is judging everyone on Earth, and we see a few of those go down, which is pretty cool. We get confirmation. Oh, I should say the creative team here, of course, is where are we at? There we go. Kieran Gillen, Lucas Wernick, and Daniel Curiel. We get some confirmation on a few things. So first of all, we get confirmation that Destiny indeed did lie. She lied to the other mutants about what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the points of contention here when we were discussing this, when we reviewed that book, because I was like, wait a second, Destiny just lied to everybody.
Hmm.
And that's a major deal. And this is why, Marco, I love tie-ins, because there would not be enough time to delve into all of this in that book proper. But here we can spend more time with it, and this will pay dividends in the future, still from a story perspective, as we continue on with the X-Men's journey. So I appreciate that about it.
That's fair. The I think the judging moments, they were executed well, but those are the only things that I ended up caring about in this issue. I was a lot cooler on this one compared to, I think Exodus was last week or
Yes.
last month rather.
Yeah.
And I was really, really high on this one. But Sebastian Shaw as a character, I don't really care for. He's there in the background for most of what's been going on beyond Marauders, and so since I haven't been picking that book up, I don't know where he's at necessarily. I don't know how his character's been developed, and this just kind of felt a little, I think, emptier. The only moments where I'm like, oh, actually Sebastian's pretty cool is when he helps Exodus with his judgment, the big hell monster. That was cool. But otherwise, like him just making dealings, I wasn't too. His judgment didn't get me. I don't know who Frost is, so it didn't have a connection there. Yeah, I was pretty
You know
low
who
on this
Emma
book.
Frost is?
What?
No, he means. I'm assuming he's referring to the other dude that.
No,
You're talking
no.
about.
Is,
Who are
is
you
that,
talking about?
Oh, is that Emma Frost who's judging him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like some other person Frost. Because I feel like he calls her Emma, no?
Nah,
No, it's Emma right there, and then he says, "You think I respect Frost?"
Oh, I thought it was a totally different person. I didn't think that was Emma. Okay. In that case, even less so. I agree with him. I don't think he has respect for who else does he care about, realistically.
Okay. Where are you at, Tyler?
I kind of dug this one. I like how Shaw's our POV character for once. I feel like we don't get that often. We get plenty of Shaw, but as a POV, not often. And I like how his whole gambit here is that he knows he's going to be judged. Why? He knows he's going to be judged as not worthy. So he's assuming his fate already. So he's like, why should I even do anything to try and change that? And in the process of that, there's a hint of I guess there's a hint that Shaw respects Emma because she's the one that shows up as the person that he would respect most and that would judge him. And I guess what they're inferring here, I guess is the way to describe it, is that Shaw kind of respects Emma because she does things for the children, and it's something that he keeps buried deep inside that he will never ever admit, and he actually makes a bit of an action on it here, but it's the most Shaw way possible, and you know he's gonna fuck everything up. So like even when you can see it there might be some honor left in Shaw somewhere deep in there, he's not gonna go about it the right way. And I'm excited for that. It is cool seeing this character that was introduced in, I believe it was Legion of X or whatever it is now, Mother Superior.
Yeah.
Coming up again in a different book. So I guess she's got some pull. So
I thought this was another great book. Another great installment in Immortal X-Men. I think I was a little more down on 5, but I think this issue picked it right back up because, it's been the interpersonal drama with the X-Men that has really driven a lot of the stuff in the Krakoan age. And Destiny has proven to be an amazing addition to all of this. She was a Spectre over the books for about a year. And then she was introduced as a proper character, a year or two, whatever it was. And then she was introduced as a proper character when Mystique resurrected her. And it's been crazy ever since she came back. And now we have different dimensions to her than we did before, because now we know she's a liar. She lied to all the council And then on top of that, she lied to Mystique right here. She told Mystique and others that she was judged by her mother, but she was judged by Mystique. That's who the progenitor came to her as. And that's a big deal. So I really appreciated all that stuff. And Shaw, wow. I've always been a fan of Shaw ever since the X-Men animated series. I didn't expect to like him so much in the books, but I think he's a great character. Getting to see what his childhood was like added layer and depth to a character that I think desperately needed it. I thought that was all right. I thought that was all really good. The fact that he brings the million to burn it to keep his father in hell, that's a baller
King
moment.
Petty right there. King Petty.
That was
Yup.
good. That was good.
And even him trying to kind of maybe turn the other cheek, or not turn the other cheek, but turn a new leaf and do the right thing. We know it's not going to happen. It's like, oh, Shaw. And the judgment, seeing Emma, to me, that made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, in his brain, in his conscious mind, he doesn't think he has any respect for Emma at all, but he clearly does. She's a beast. She is in his perfect world, he'd probably be with Emma because she is exactly what he idealizes in a woman. The same kinds of things that he has in the things that he admires about himself, she also has. But the things that he wishes he had, she has. Like the care for people, the care for humans, the ability to not always be the worst person in the room. Those are things that he wishes he could be, but he can't because of who his dad was, but she's got them. And so in his subconscious, he does respect her. And that's why she's the one who the progenitor appeared to him as.
It's also like that is who he wants to be, but he'll never admit that to himself either.
Exactly.
It's
That's
like
why
he
so
almost
good.
doesn't even know it too. It's
Right.
just like built into him subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably why he wanted to make her his, subservient, back during the Hellfire Club.
Exactly.
It's
And I
kind
think
of-
that's how that goes.
Yep.
That's how that goes. You meet a woman who's better than you, I'm gonna make her worse than me. I'm gonna put her in the mud because I can't be what she is. That's unfortunately what a lot of awful men like Shaw do. And I love that this book highlighted that. I thought this was a great comic. On most weeks, this would have been my pick of the week. And I did not expect to feel that way about the Sebastian Shaw issue.
Wow. Okay.
The art remains good. It's hard to talk about the art just because, we are 6 issues deep and it's been, it's not a revelation. Wernick is not breaking any mold, but I think there's a lot of good stuff here. The half Mystique, half like weird monster portrayal earlier on is really cool. The hell sequence looks really good. That demon that he drew, that was all really cool.
Was that the
I think there's good
Krampus?
stuff. I don't know what that was.
It looked like the Krampus. It had like the chain and everything. It's kidnapping someone. It's got like
Two horns.
the goat head. Yeah. I was getting Krampus
Yeah.
vibes.
That was cool.
Am I nuts? Did that really happen?
I think it does happen, but it's like a psychic effect, similar to how the main, when they tried to kill the, technically it happens, but it's more of a psychic attack.
Sure, yeah.
But how do other people see it though?
I was thinking that this was a part of the judgment.
Right,
That-
but isn't the judgment like psychic to Tyler's point?
I think this is a part of Shaw's judgment.
Oh,
He
interesting.
doesn't realize it, but this is all his judgment.
Interesting. Okay. So by
What he fight-
viewing Exoduses.
This is, I don't even know if this is representing Exoduses. This is just strictly Shaw's. This is in my mind. This is what I got out of it. That these situations are Shaw being faced with a different version of judgment and passing or failing. This is all happening in his own mind, because not even everyone who's there is a psychic. If If they were all under this attack, they're not
Yeah.
even all psychics. So how could they participate?
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to like marry those two because I'm like, wait, but not everybody can see this. I don't understand how people are reacting to it necessarily, and then for Shaw to have this actual physical reaction to it, that was a little weird. Okay.
I think they do happen outside, because the other times we've seen it, they've been when people have been alone, like Destiny's. But when Shaw is having his thing going on, you can see another person, I guess, like a civilian getting judged outside, where he's like trying to steal a TV or something.
Really?
So I think these things happen. And like when Cap got judged, he was lifted up in front of everyone. You can see him being judged by everyone. So
That's right. That's right.
I do
Okay.
think that it is visible when someone gets judged.
They're like
It's
manifestations.
just not
of some
everyone's
kind.
judgment is as grandiose as, Exodus is, Like
Sure.
Kitty's she's like, yeah, I got judged and it was quick and I passed, but
Okay.
Dig it.
Yeah, this was good stuff.
Which is the next issue for this one? For Mortal?
Good question.
it'll be after 6 is 7.
Ha ha. Good stuff. I was rooting for 8, but
I'm not all the way sure. I'm not all the way
Oh,
sure.
it looks like Nightwing. I mean Nightwing, like Nightcrawler. He's on the
Okay.
cover. I fuck with that.
Yeah, it could be good. I love a Nightcrawler story.
Let me see. The Sinister Secret says seems Nightcrawler okay, hold on. It says which blue mutant is going to see red? That's the Sinister Secret question.
So it's either
Nightcrawler's gonna
Mystique or
get pissed
Nightcrawler.
off next month.
It's a Nightcrawler focused issue, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's the one who's going to see red.
It could be Mars too. Something related to what happened with Uranus.
True. Yeah.
For this one, it was, is an island nation going to be destroyed? Maybe, but don't worry, it's not ours.
Oh, Iceland. That's funny.
So, good stuff. We have one more book to go. This was the listener pick this week. Alien #1. Shout out to Manny and shout out to Nihilus, who voted for this over on Discord. So this is Philip Kennedy Johnson, Julius Ota, and Yen Nitro. This is volume 2, so this is, I'm assuming, a direct follow-up to Philip Kennedy Johnson's first volume on Alien. I believe he got 12 issues with that. First of all, I had to read this on Comixology. I mentioned this at the top. I despise the experience. This is brutally bad.
Web, right?
Web, yes. And boy, oh boy, like they got to figure this shit out. You can't like zooming in is a hassle. You have to like drag it around to handle the zoom, but if you press the wrong thing, it's just going to turn the page. It's just it doesn't feel intuitive. Every other web viewer I've ever used feels like they trained me to do things a certain way, and then this one upends all of that. But we've all used web viewers. We all have had that experience. So this one just feels clunky by comparison. But I won't hold that against the comic book. I really didn't get a whole lot out of this. There are apparently super powered synthetic individuals now in the Alien verse. I don't know if that's a new thing based on the
No.
comics or
Those
what.
are
I haven't
the,
seen the Alien movies. I saw the first one.
Okay. All right. Well, then I won't speak anymore. Oh, well, in the first one, what's his face? Remember the milk comes all out of his body? He's the cyborg that Wayland Yutani implanted into. He was the one that,
Yeah,
tries to
but-
was like, oh, let the humans die or whatever.
But wasn't he like because I think there was one even in the movie Prometheus, right? That was
Yeah, that was
this
Michael
guy's
Fassbender.
character. Yeah, but they don't have powers, right? They're just androids.
They're
extra-
super strong.
Yeah, they're strong.
Yeah, they're super strong and they can be agile.
These people fly.
That's different. That
I thought they
definitely
were
for sure is
just
different.
jumping really high. That's what I was getting out of it. I wasn't getting flying.
She was in the clouds, bro.
Yeah,
a
it
good
was
jump.
that was genuinely kind of a lot.
It's
I'll
like
give
early
you that.
Superman.
Yeah.
Leaps and bounds.
And there's some general trying to convince them the government has done them wrong in some form or fashion, and there is a general trying to recruit them to help them because there's a planet that is about to be radiated, and they need to find some anti-radiation.
Yeah. Let's not stop the
remedy.
radiation. Let's just
Yeah.
make it so people can survive the radiation.
Right, the toxic, deadly levels of radiation.
Typical capitalism just wants the people to suffer through it. You know, we still need them there to work.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love the world of Alien so far. It's really bleak and dark and terrible. I don't know how much I cared for this particular issue though.
This was different because the original Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff dealt with. So if you read like the blurbs, it was in the previous in 2200 is where that stuff happened, and then in 2202 is where like the second arc of Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff happened, where there's like a separate mining space, and that stuff was cool. That they brought you into the world by bringing a lot of old characters from the movies back, and you being able to sort of attach yourself. But because this was so divorced from that stuff, and to your point on like it feels like they had like superpowers because they were just jumping around and doing shit, that felt a little more wacky than what I'm used to even in these books, because that didn't feel like we don't get the semblance even of aliens quite yet. Like we get glimpses and whatnot, but typically, and the way that Philip Kennedy Johnson did it in his first arc, it was a slow burn and there was like character development. This just felt like action, and I didn't appreciate that as much as some of the more nuanced stuff he was doing in his first arc, and even in his second arc.
Yeah, I'm on board. I read the first. It was at least the first issue of the Alien stuff, and I really liked it a lot more than this because it was more cerebral. It was more personal, and I love the Weyland Yutani organization as this like extremely disgusting peak post-capitalism capitalist monster that has taken over everything, including other planets. Like, it's so bad, right? Like, the world sucks. The worlds suck. And the root of the alien crisis is literally capitalism run amok. That's a phenomenal premise. And I don't like the idea of that getting bogged down with like frivolous action sequences.
Yep.
But Philip Kennedy Johnson is super talented. So I feel like this will kind of, bounce back. But you're right. Yeah, it was just action, superpowers, flying, killing. That's not that compelling.
For me, like, I don't ask for much out of an Alien book. I don't ask for much out of like an IP book, honestly. But you got what, 2 pages of actual xenomorph action in this? And like, that's not acceptable for me if I'm reading a book called Alien, Like, I think the promise that like these superpowered cyborgs will then be fighting these aliens and it's going to be like a very comic booky version of Alien. Sure, that is exciting to potentially see down the road. But you didn't give me any of that in this issue, so like, it's not what I want right now. Like, I know I might be getting it 2-3 issues down the line, but I'm not getting it yet. So what's the point?
Well,
Yeah.
and
I'm
then
impatient when it comes to this, I guess.
the other thing is that we just got the Predator #1,
Yeah.
which
That's
was awesome.
Mhm.
So compare that to this, and this feels more like what I expect to read when I read an IP book, whereas Predator felt like it is what I want them to be like.
Yeah, very much so.
Sean, who was the artist on this one again?
Oh, this was Julius Olta.
Yeah, so I did like the art. I was a fan of the art. I liked how it wasn't. What was it before LaRocca previously?
Yes,
It was, yeah, LaRocca.
Which is super photo referencey. Like this felt like a comic book. You know what I mean? Which is what I praise like the Kev Walker art for being in Predator. It wasn't trying to be the movie in comic book form. It was trying to be a comic book first. It's a little cartoony. Again, very super heroic poses throughout this. But it wasn't what I expected out of an Alien book, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It was kind of surprising. I was expecting LaRocca, you know, and not seeing that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm cool with this.
It felt a little. I forgot what we were talking about, which book, but there was something I mentioned felt a little waxy and like a little shiny, and this felt very like that. I think I was mentioning like the early 2000s Marvel shit. This gave me that same vibe, and I was like, I'm not about this.
I think it was early McNiven art is what we were referencing.
I think so. Yeah, and not about this. Everybody's just like has moisturizer on or some shit or like some wax because they're just shiny for no reason.
This kind of reminded me of, maybe I'm crazy here, Tyler, but it kind of reminded me of the not the Ultimates, but like Ultimate Comics, in terms of some of the acts of some of the art. The colors, I don't think the colors did Julius any favors. I think the actual drawings are pretty good. I like some of the poses. I think they're strong. There aren't many interesting decisions as far as panels go, and that's always disappointing to me. It's all pretty straightforward. But I think the colors just, I don't know, they make it look a little bit too bright and light for what's supposed to be, you know, a pretty shit situation.
Yeah. Alien, it typically is black, gray, brown, and dark green, and red for the blood. And maybe the most color you get is alien blood. That's about it. This was a very colorful comic.
Yeah.
But again, maybe bucking the trend, so maybe it's purposeful in that way.
I'm sure. Yeah. I would say pass. Honestly, this isn't my kind of book.
Me too.
I'm sure there's more context for these superpowered synthetics that makes them more interesting to you, but without that context, for me, they were pretty paper thin, and I didn't care about any of them. I have no clue what a single one of their names was, or what kind of people they were. I really don't know, and I find that I don't care, unfortunately. And that's something that surprises me coming from a Philip Kennedy Johnson book, because I do think that he has a knack for that. So this was a little bit of a disappointment for me, and I will say pass.
I think I'm gonna say pass as well. I liked the first arc. The second arc wasn't as strong, but this, to your point on following the androids, I don't care about that. Like there's less risk there because they're not even people. They're gonna fight up against an alien where I can kind of see them squaring off. And that's not a position you want your characters to be when you're facing an alien. You want them to be terrified and in constant danger, because that's going to get your heart racing. And if this is the premise out the gate, I don't know. I might get one more issue just to see where he goes, because Johnson has my trust. He's earned that, so I'll at least give it one more issue. But beyond that, I don't know. I'd say pass for anybody else who's not directly interested in Alien or Philip Kennedy Johnson.
It's my issue. It's the reason why I like Alien over Aliens, because Alien is a horror movie, and Aliens is an action thriller movie. I prefer my xenomorphs to be horror.
Yes.
And that's not what this book is. So, you know, I'm gonna pass on this one as well.
Wow, just a rare unanimous pass on this podcast. And I'm sure if Kale were here, he would also pass.
Oh, so. Most definitely. I'd be surprised if he actually read it.
Yeah, well, he didn't read anything this week. But we do appreciate the submission, the listener submission. Every single week, we will have a slot for the listeners to write in. Let us know what you guys would like us to read. And, you know, if enough of you vote for it, or if we're really interested in it, we will choose your book. So please keep those coming. Any comment section is a good place to put your pick. Doesn't matter where it is. It's best if it's on our Discord server, but if it's not going to be there, that's fine. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you get us, YouTube, it doesn't matter. We appreciate all that. And so that's it for the reviews, but the show's not over because we still have Comics Tag and Pals Pulls Proper. Comics Tag is where one of us gets to tag one of the other members of the show with a book that they have to read and then present their thoughts. And then that gives that person the power to tag someone else. I tagged Marco with reading Warren Ellis' Thunderbolts, first, second issue, however much you can get through. What did you read and what did you think?
So I made it through the first issue, and I dug the art. I dug the premise. I'm a fan of Ellis, his writing, and
good catch.
And Mike Deodato. I've recently been turned on to with a few of his AWA stuff, so easy win for me. And the way it opens with Bullseye being an absolute psychopath, and then the reveal that, oh, there's another sociopath who's putting this team together, I was like, oh shit, stuff's gonna get fucked up. Like, stuff's gonna go down and stuff's gonna happen. There are gonna be consequences here. And the way that all of these characters have been put together, I'm not as familiar with this new Venom, Penance from whatchamacallit, Civil War. Radioactive Man, don't know, but the psychiatrist woman, and I'm forgetting her name. It's not Songbird.
Moonstone. Yeah, my favorite.
Love
yeah.
Moonstone.
Diabolical, dude. She seems diabolical.
Yeah,
and
she's great.
That hooked me. I was like, oh, okay. She's gonna be like the real leader here, and she has to balance so many personalities, and she knows which ones she can like toy with, which ones she can control, and then she knows which ones are actually going to be like something of an opposition to her. Very well done. I thought that was really cool and really engaging. The first issue got me for sure. I have the full trade, so I'm gonna finish it up. But out the gate. Oh, and then Rick Flag, is it? Right?
No,
not Rick Flag.
Jack Flag.
Jack Flag. That whole bit where he's just like, he just wants to continue to be a hero, and he has a family to consider, and he's going to like say goodbye to her for the sake of his heroism. Okay, cool. I like these characters. There are stakes here. The characters have individual motivations, and I can only imagine that that's going to continue to progress throughout the story and develop. So thumbs up from my end, man. That's just good stuff. Sean, again, another banger.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I try. Tyler, is it just me, or did it sound like Marco was going to say he didn't like it when that first started up?
Oh, that's what I got too. I was like, what?
Yeah.
The vibe you started off with, it threw me off. I was like, it's impossible not to at least enjoy this.
Right. Like that would
I
be
can see it
nuts.
not being someone's bag, but like it's good.
The very next time that I have the ability to vote, which is the next book club vote, it's a done deal. I'm putting Thunderbolts on, and I hope it wins because I'm for myself am dying to read this again. Tyler, I'm sure you would love a reread. Marco hasn't read it before. I'm not sure Kale's status.
This is one of the few books I've reread multiple times.
It's brilliant.
It's like an every other year sort of thing for me.
Tyler, let me ask you this. As the Thunderbolts aficionado, the one in the world, is this the best Thunderbolts run of all time?
It's up there, but honestly, I really like Jeff Parker's run.
Okay, all right.
It's different. It's a different flavor. My gut says yes. But it's non-traditional Thunderbolts, really. Because like the original stuff is a little more Avengers adjacent. Like these guys are bad off the bat,
Right.
And they're like the worst of the worst. This whole book this whole run is a house of cards waiting to fall down, and each card is a mass murderer.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels like. That's how the team's getting stacked up to be. And it's just something that we had talked about, I think, last week's for Thunderbolts last week. I can see the distinction. I can see where you guys and where I think where Kale in particular as well was getting frustrated. And he's in chat. He was also waiting for a butt on my end.
He was waiting for your butt.
He also thought I was gonna be negative on this, down on this book, and I can understand the frustration because the murderous intent is gone, the danger is gone. It is very corporate-y and marketing, and that was the thing that interested me. But now with this context, I'm like, oh, shit, that this is such a deviation from that I can understand why somebody would be frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I
But
feel
now you have the power, and so who will you tag and with what?
Okay, so the original plan was to tag Kale with Lock and Key, but then he bowed out, couldn't do it.
He's here.
And I was like, all right, he's here.
Yeah, he's here. You can tag him right now, and he can do his tag next
you're
week.
right. You know what, Kale? Have you read Lock and Key? I feel like you haven't.
He doesn't get to respond.
Yeah,
he's here, but he doesn't get to respond.
He read it.
Lock and Key?
Yeah, he said it in chat, and I thought as much.
That seems like a Kale book.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Do you want me to be honest?
Have you read it?
I've never read it.
Yeah,
I haven't read it either.
All right. You know what? I'll tag Sean. If you want to tag along, you can do so as well. Optional tag. But Tyler, Lock and Key, first volume. It's on Comics Edge Unlimited.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have it downloaded on Unlimited already. Yeah.
First volume.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I think you're gonna be engrossed. Genuinely, I think you're gonna be engrossed.
I've literally had my friends who don't read comics tell me I need to read Lock and Key. So
yeah,
It's funny.
When I worked at
Very
Barnes
good.
and Noble, that was like the book everyone's like, oh yeah, Lock and Key is good, and this was a decade ago. Or I'm like, no, I only read superhero books. What are you talking about? I read Thunderbolts. This
Not a
Lock and
loser.
Key shit. What is it, like Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so that's the tag. Tyler will report back next week with his thoughts on Lock and Key #1. But we've still got to tell you guys our pulls. These are the books that we are looking forward to next week. Some amount of these will be reviewed on the show, so you never know. Tyler, take it away.
I'm picking up X-Men Red #6 because that X-Men Red #5 was a friggin' doozy. That was the Uranus issue.
Yeah.
So this is more of the fallout of it. So excited for that for sure. And I also want to check out Midnight Suns #1. It's a new team and it has magic on it. It has magic and Nico Minoru. Like, doesn't matter what else is happening. Like
The
those two
magical
alone.
girls.
Yeah, those two alone, I'm in. So I'm interested in that. Sean, Spider-Man #9, Amazing Spider-Man #9.
Hey, I'm really enjoying this series. I know some people are down on it. There was some conversation in our Discord about it this week. I think it's been really good. The Tombstone stuff was phenomenal. You know, you can't always be Green Goblin, guys. It can't always be Venom or, you know, one of them or Doc Ock. Sometimes you have to work with the lesser villains, and what you do is what happened in this run, and what I'm so happy about is you take one of those villains, you dust them off, and you come up with an interesting angle. You know what I'm saying? And you make them good. You make them, you know, if Tombstone is a C-list villain, we did our rankings. I think he ended up in B tier. But
C.
You know, if you think of him in your mind as a C-list villain, he's been dormant, you dust him off and you say, okay, we're going to raise him up to B. And I think that's what happened.
Do you know about what's happening in this issue, though?
No, I haven't even read the solicit.
There's a reason why Wolverine's on the cover, and there's an X-Men logo on the cover that has a Hellfire
Oh, this
Gala.
is the tie-in.
Yeah.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is the Moira issue. This is the Moira issue.
This is
so
good.
that's even more of a reason for you to want that.
Yeah, I'm hyped. This is good stuff. So I've been loving it.
And Daredevil #3. They went from 650 last issue to 3.
Gotta reset.
You know, we reviewed Chip Zdarsky's Batman this week, Batman 127. That's been great. And Daredevil is similarly great. Daredevil is, you know, a really strong book still. It's the same creative team telling the same story. Daredevil and Elektra are rebuilding the Fist. and they are going to collide. The collision course with Punisher is set. It's only a matter of time, and they're going to give Punisher the fist. So we'll see.
Nice. Marco, silver coin number 14. This one is by Pornsack Pinochet.
Pinochet. Yep, and that's why we read for one of our book clubs Infidel.
I've read that. It's very good.
Real good. The Good Asian, also really good. And so, he has creds for me as a writer, and teaming up with Michael Walsh, bound to be good. And The Solicit, Lauren and Darren were working through their issues when a bad year hit. 2020 was when the world caught fire, where their relationship went to hell, and when a strange coin pushed things one step further. Easy money.
Oh boy.
Bye.
And then this book that I totally forgot was coming out, the Bone Orchard Mythos, 10,000 Black Feathers #1 by Jeff Lemire, Andreas Sorrentino, and Dave Stewart.
The creative team's right there. Easy pick. I didn't read the Bone Orchard Mythos book proper that came out because it was like $17 for like 60 pages or something. It was some ridiculous amount. I was going to wait for it to go on sale and pick it up. But this is its own single issue, 32 pages, for $3.99. Fine. I'll check out what they have to say. And I enjoy this team very much so. So I'm happy to pick it up.
And those are our polls because Kel's not here. So,
Rip.
All right. Awesome. Thank you guys for listening. Let us know what you want us to read on the show next week. Send in your requests. We have to have a cutoff date now. The cutoff date is Wednesday. Let us know by Wednesday what book you want us to check out on this upcoming episode of Pals Pulls, which you can catch live, if you would like, on twitch.tv/thecomicspals every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can watch the main show every single Saturday live at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. It is going to be an interesting weekend. D23 is happening, so Tyler and I will be covering that stuff. We'll be telling you guys sort of, what has happened up to that point, maybe a little bit of speculation about what might happen that night. Who knows? Maybe we'll follow up with something a little later on.
We might have video game news. That's what's happening tomorrow night. So
cool. Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, some other stuff too. So tune into the main show for that. Patreon.com/thecomicspals, where for as little as $3 a month, you can support your boys and get access to our newsletter and a whole host of other cool things. So give that website a look, and if you like what you see, join on board. YouTube.com/thecomicspals. Like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. All that's free to do. Helps us out a lot more than it costs you. And our book club, Batman, White Knight, and Curse of the White Knight, that's out right now. Go show that some love. Check that out. With that, that's it. That's the show. We are the Comics Pals signing off. Until next time, take care, guys.
See you next week. Stole his bit.
Come on.